Hey there, so today we have another review. Still working on lighting. I got one lamp going. This guy, the lighting's not gonna work. I gotta figure some stuff out, but there's basically no lighting in the new place I have. Anyway, this is Grimm's Lambo door. It's been quite a while since I've had this beer. Shout out to them. They, I think, just celebrated like 6 years in their new tap room and then 11 years of doing the gypsy thing, which when they started, and they're not doing the gypsy thing these days. But this was one of the early beers that they produced. And right now it's Citra El Dorado Simcoe. And they've seemed like they changed the recipe because like this beer was never this hazy, but it was such a revelatory beer for me back then. I mean, this is right around when like hazy IPA was getting onto the market, and they were sort of a hazy-ish IPA kind of brewery. Like, man, I should just do a video about like what, and just post to you guys like a bunch of beers about like what hazy IPA used to be and what it is now. And man, it was just it was soft and juicy back then, and this is one of the beers that taught me that Simcoe can be really a juicy hop, because I was so Simcoe with like West Coast IPA, dank, but it was super peachy and intense, and using their yeast strain, and it was always just a little bit hazy, but it clearly isn't now a full-on hazy IPA. There's beers were somewhat hazy, but like somewhat opaque as well, or somewhat clear. This beer is full on haze. I think the color might be similar, but this feels lighter. It comes almost like a straw to like gold color, and that's full on haze, like medium plus. I mean, not completely juice, like turkey. What do they call it? Like a turkey gravy or whatever. Like it's a very light color with a beautiful like medium plus haze, but like yeah, like right, like I don't know if you guys see, like there's some amount of light coming through, but yeah, let's check it out. Beer, I got a GB. It is not that fresh actually; it's about 2 months fresh, but let's check it out. Smells nice, yeah. Light grainy malt character. Definitely some stone fruit in here and apricots. Light pineapple character. Citrus for days, so like good amount of that kind of like orangey citrus, citra note. Cheers. Oh yeah, certainly a different beer these days. I remember back in the day, these beers were soft, but also very ester forward. I always get this like big, and they actually call it on their website, this kind of like a, it's similar to a treehouse ester profile. It's back then it was always like, for me, a treehouse was always juicy fruit, bubblegum, bananas for days. Grimm's yeast strain was always a like. And they call it on the website. It's like a Haribo gummy bears, just gummy bears for days. Everything gummy bears, jelly rings, peach jelly rings. Like here, the descriptions are pretty good. I don't remember all of them, but there is a coconut cream like creaminess to this. Some beers come off a bit vanilla-y, and I get that here. It's somewhere between coconut cream and vanilla, right? Like a little bit of that, not too strong. But yeah, up front, big pineapple notes, big citra flavor, big navel orange, tangerines, a little bit of pineapple, nice creamy mouthfeel, a little bit of that creamy coconut cream and vanilla character they're talking about. Relatively somewhat dry of a beer, not too much bitterness to speak of. That's just really well constructed hazy double IPA. So what does it do here that makes sense? So first off, it's definitely different from what it was back then. You can sort of tell that there's a little bit more mouthfeel. I suspect there's a solid amount more oats and wheat to the grain bill now. There's just more like paleness to it. It's got this kind of oatmeal and oat cracker and porridge and oatmeal, right? Like it's all these pale, grainy malt characteristics. It also seems to have a chewier mouthfeel as well. The esters seem pulled back. Like I don't really push forward on that heavy ester profile that the yeast was pushing. Excuse me. But man, it's super drinkable. Like literally, I'd be hard pressed to find any kind of like noticeable, like little bit of drying polyphenol character, maybe a hint of light chalkiness, but like all those hazy IPA flavor, all flavors in my mind are devoid here. Reminds me of some of the like awesome, just world class hazy IPAs I've had that are more recent. Like Other Half Still crushes it, Equilibrium, Pariah. Yeah, it's just full bodied, big and juicy. For 2 months old, that's really, really tasty. Shout out to Joe and Lauren. This is just killer good. I mean, this is the epitome of what, or not epitome, but this is a great definitive take on what modern hazy IPA is. Like we're no longer in the world where you can get away with like a medium-ish kind of haze. Like we're gonna go full haze. We're going very pale. And we're not really playing that game where like we're allowing I believe back then it was more like the hops allowing for polyphenol haze character. Here it's like we're building it like all the way with a lot of adjunct malts, oats, unmalted wheat, blah blah, but it's still really well constructed, not showing off flavors. Too much fresh. It's still very definitively hoppy, and just nice combination melange of just like citrus and tropical. Yeah, it's crazy good. I think that I need to give you guys a rating. That's a solid. More dry too. I like the dryness on this hazy double IPA. I will tell you, I've been avoiding hazy IPAs these days. I just, there's just so many I pour down the drain. So many are just not drinkable. So many are just. Again, those all flavors are just off-putting, and they're so big these days, and they just don't make sense. Like they're just not drinkable beers. Like especially like when I'm reviewing beers, I'm generally choosing a night where I ideally can have a couple beers, and drinkability is huge, and balance is huge. And this beer's not necessarily balanced. This is big, juicy 8% hazy IPA, but the drinkability and that offers a lot of balance compared to a beer that, again, when you lack balance, you're only. I talk about beers in ounces. 4 ounce, 6 ounce, 8 ounce at most. This is a 16 ounce beer. This is gonna get you in big trouble. 16 ounces, super drinkable. Not overly sweet. Nice dryness to it. Beautiful mouthfeel. Big hop character. Construction. It's balanced right here. Some amount of balance, right? Beer is getting a solid 98. 98, that's fantastic. That's Lambo Bador. Glad Grimm is just still crushing it on hazy IPA. I'm glad to get it down here. And I can't imagine how this beer tastes like, even fresher. 2 months in, amazing. You guys are Grimm fans, posting comments below. I've been familiar with the brand for quite a while now, since arguably day one. And I've been a fan for a long time. And shout out to Joe and Lauren for constructing such a great brand, such great beers, such an awesome tap room. I can't wait to come back, ideally in a few months when I go to a wedding in New York. So shout out to you guys if you guys are listening still. Maybe we should have a meetup. And they have pizza now. I can't wait. 98 Grimm later.